figure out how to get this signal on the bottom here. I had to hook up the ground and the positive to the coil to get that to jump up like that. Otherwise it was just confusing information. And it's obviously, I unplugged the top line is the coil fires. So there's a space there on the left and a space on the right, and there's 10 fires in between. Okay, and where it comes up on the bottom is where the number 1 coil is supposed to fire. Well, that comes up on the bottom, there's a blank on the top line, and it's supposed to be firing there. And I can't get it to do any better than that on the top line to read how the coils are doing, but I am noticing that it kind of drops down below the line on a couple of them. When I zoom it, change it to millivolts, see how it drops down below on a couple of them. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. It might be. That's at 1 volt, and I can't zoom in. At least I haven't been able to figure out how to zoom in. Stopped. You can see it has 3 fires on every single one except for the second to the last one. So if you start on the left where it comes up on the bottom and you count over, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over. It's not firing very well. So that's a possible bad coil. I'll have to figure out what firing order it is to see which one that is. Now I'm going to start it up again and watch what happens when I hit the gas. I wonder if that messes with the millivolts of voltage. Yeah, so I think I got one bad coil. I can't get it to zoom any better than that. I don't know what setting that would be. I hit this 50% down here on the bottom and it just brings up this screen. It doesn't change anything when you press the buttons. That's what happens when I change the milliseconds on the bottom here. Watch them run however much time I want. one's not firing 3 times, one of them's only firing once. That means it's probably bad too. That one, it's the, from number 1, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th one back in the firing order. That one's going to need to be changed. Too. Should do a little bit longer of a sample. Doesn't catch it here though. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That shows them all good at 20 milliseconds. Okay, this is with this test light attached to the positive of the battery. This I'm touching the negative, the signal wire. See how it's blinking the light? Doesn't do nothing when I touch that because it's positive to positive. So when I touch this though, it's fire in the solenoid. I do that on the one next to it, it does the same thing. On the other wire for the other coil right next to it, same thing. Now, when the truck was off, it didn't, we'll see what happens when the truck is off. Alright, the truck is off. I touch this and I get nothing. Because it's on the positive. So if I was getting the ground, that would beep. It's not beeping. Now it's on the positive and now it's beeping. So red to red. Where is it hooked up? It's hooked up on the positive. Huh, that's the positive wire. Does that mean that positive wire is grounded? Because I'm on the positive to the battery and it doesn't make the thing ring. That red and green wire is grounded. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone down and check to see if the other wire is grounded on the one next to it. Alright, so it's grounded when I turn the key off, but when I turn the key on, it's not. That's grounded. This is the power wire. It's not grounded when the key's on. If I switch this over to the negative on the battery, it lights it up with the key on. So that must just be having something to do with it being switched off. And this doesn't do anything unless I start it, and then it starts to beep, because that's what it's supposed to do. So now I'm back to not knowing if that wire is bad or not, because if that wire was grounded all the time, then it would ground right now. So I'm not certain that that's going to help anything to change that wire. Okay, so it's been running for a minute. I replaced the ECU, and the last coil I put in smoked almost immediately. These are used coils, by the way. When I put this on here, though, that's the signal wire for the number 1 coil, and it's beeping. Hear it? Oh, maybe not. Every time it beeps, it flashes. And it's sitting there and it's flashing. Well, when the truck is off, it doesn't light up. When the truck is on, it doesn't light up. When I start the truck, it starts to flash. That means to me that wire isn't grounded anywhere. It means to me that the signal's getting from the ECU to the coil. So the signal wire is working. I kind of knew that when I did the oscilloscope, because that's the wire, the signal I was using to know which one wasn't firing. If I take this lead and I put it on the negative of the battery, that's the positive, and it gets voltage. It's grounded for some reason when the key is off. When the key is on, it's not grounded, and it gets 12 volts or whatever, 14 volts. So the wiring is working, the computer is working. If I put this on another coil wire, it runs the same way, it beeps the same way. If I rev it, it speeds up. So I guess I can only assume that I've been going through a bunch of bad coils, because these are not new coils. They're old ones that I tested with a multimeter. That tested good with a multimeter. And I replaced all 10 on the truck when I did it, so I assume there was probably at least a half a dozen of them that are still good. This one seems to be still good. It's been running for a few minutes now, and it ain't smoked the coil. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and terminate these wires and run the truck and wait for it to blow up again and blow another coil, I guess. Okay, that is coil number 2. That's coil number 1. I better go back to 2. That's coil 2. That's coil 3. That's coil 1. That's coil 6. So already this coil isn't working. So I'm going to shut it off and put a different coil in. Cracked and melted. Okay, so it didn't take long for that one to go bad. I'm going to try another one because my tests say the wires are good. Okay, this coil is working. I'm going to put the bolt in it, tighten it down, and I'm going to run it for 10 minutes. And if that signal goes away, I'll know it fried it right away. That's the number 1 coil. Okay, that's the setting I need. Compare it to the 6. That's the 6. Okay, that's different. That's the 6. That's the 1. That's the 3. It's the 6. That one doesn't flash, but this that one's getting some kind of interference. Now it seems like it gets an interference. That's the number 1. Why does that one seem so much different than the rest? Does that mean it's destroying itself right now? Speed it up a little bit. Okay, do that on the number 6. Well, the number 6 looks about the same if I get it right on top. Okay, that's the number 6. That's number 6. Number 4 or 3 maybe. This is the number 2 right there. That might be an interference with the wiring. Okay, that's number 2. Yeah, if I get the wires away, it gets a signal. This one seems to be lasting longer than any of the others, but I still don't like the way that it's got that big. That's from the side of the coil. That's from the side. That's from the side of the coil on number 6. Huh. Number 1 at a different 500 US. This is number 6. Okay. That's number 1. Number 6. This is one of the new coils that I thought wasn't working. This is one of the NGK coils I put back in after thinking it wasn't working. In the number 1 slot. So must have thought, well, this coil must have been frying stuff. Maybe the ECU was bad, because this was one of the new coils that I thought was bad, and it's not bad. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at, honestly, but it doesn't look that bad. It's a little bit more spread out after the second fire or whatever than this. So that's number 6. It's just much smaller. That one seems bigger. And that's another coil, and it's smaller. Wow, that coil doesn't seem to be working. That's 1, 2, 3. That's number 4. That's number 5. So that means number 4 isn't working now. Okay. Well, that's something. That one's working. That one's working. 8's working. That's 10. Why are these? Okay, that's 10. That's 9. Oh, the cord must have drug it up somehow. That's 9. That's 8. That's 7. That's 6. It's 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. Okay, so we're going to replace 4. I correct myself. This is what NGK looks like. The one that I've put back in is an old one. It's just an old one that's a generic, because NGK is marked. This one is not passing. I can't exactly figure out why. Can't really see anything wrong with it, but I'm going to set it aside so I don't get it confused with other ones. That boot's still good. It's a motor craft that tested good with the meter. We'll throw this one in. See how it does. Doesn't look cracked or nothing. So number 4, which is right there. It's not too hard to get to. And I got it on Screen record. I'm going to start the vehicle. And we'll see what happens. Nothing. Well, it might not be the coil. That's number one again. It's number 2. 3. 4 has nothing. Guess I should probably check to see if it's getting a signal. Alright, no light. I'm connected to the signal wire. There is no signal going to that coil. So I probably traded one bad computer for another bad computer, because this one was just $130. Great. Alright. Neither computer, because I just switched to ECUs, and I unplugged this one because I was suspecting that it was burning up this coil, so I changed them. This one beeps like it's supposed to. This one still doesn't get any signal here. It should be beeping right now, and it doesn't beep, and it doesn't flash. But this one, get it in with one hand. See, that one's flashing. This one, I got an alligator clip and a pin on it. That one doesn't flash at all. So there's something going on there. I gotta figure out what it is. I went in and looked in the book, and that wire for number 4 goes around the back of the engine under by the transmission bell housing and comes back around on the other side, so it feeds all the coils all the way around, and then the coil wires come back out here. They go down and into this plug, so it comes out of this right here on this side by coil number 6, shoots down the side of the engine here, goes into this plug. I'm looking for the yellow with a black stripe wire. That's it. So I gotta check and see if that's getting a signal here, and maybe it's not getting the signal the rest of the way. Like, it might be broken from here to somewhere between here and the coil. So if I can get a signal there, then I can maybe splice in on the other side of this plug, which might be a little easier to get to than underneath all that in the ECU area. So I gotta get set up for that. Okay, that's pin number 2 on this plug on the side of the motor, and I'm pretty sure that's another coil. Pin number 5 is the one that I'm testing. That's pin number 5. Not exactly the same. I can't get my test light to light up with this one, but I can get it to light up with number 5. So I don't think the signal is even to the PCM or ECU. Okay, pin 5 on this to over there on the coil plug. I got this wire connected to that coil plug signal wire, and then it's connected to this ground. Got it on continuity check, and when I touch this 5th wire or 5th pin, it beeps. So, and when I touch to the engine or a ground or the battery or whatever, it doesn't beep. So it's not grounded to the chassis. So it's not touching anywhere. And the wire goes all the way through. And it gets a signal from this plug to the coil plug. So it's not that wire. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to test this side of the plug to the ECU, because getting to that ECU plug and sticking a needle in it is going to be a little hard, but I guess I'm going to have to do it. All right, hear that? That is the sound of it making it all the way to the ECU. That's pin 103, I think, and or 102, one or the other. Anyway, that's the wire that goes to that plug. That means that that wire, and also I checked to see if it was grounded to the motor. It's not. So that means the wire is good all the way to the computer, all the way to the, that means that both ECUs have the bad number 4, best I can tell, because that wire is good. Okay, this is the coil I pulled out and put on the charger to set it aside, and it's good. It's an NGK. I put it in the number 6. That's the number 7, so it looks the same. So I'm gonna call that coil good. Okay, that's what a brand new coil looks like. Brand new out of the box. Okay, just so happens that when I was pulling on this plug, see that? The 3rd wire in, that's a shiny piece of metal. That wire has been pulled out like 1/8 of an inch. Hopefully if I can push that back in, it'll work. Because the 3rd one over, see how that's got copper, 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 no copper? That wire has been pulled out of there. And that's the wire that does that coil signal wire. 3rd one over, it's on the side with the key. Okay, I got lucky and I pushed this in and it clipped back in and locked back in. So now you can see the metal there, the 3rd one in the corner here. So I think I just fixed the problem. Alright, I got everything plugged back in and time to test it. goes. It's working. Alright. Now I can plug the coil in. And hopefully this will be fixed. Alright, I got it done. It was the connection. All the coils are working now, just like they're supposed to. The last one I showed was of a brand new coil, and pretty much all of them are running pretty close to that, so I think I'm okay. So that finishes up this project.